Listen, before you buy a home in Savannah, Georgia, know this. There will be things you will not catch on your first visit. Now, if you miss them and you end up buying that house, that could cost you your entire savings account in a matter of 2 years. Now, you're about to see 9 different types of homes that I would never buy in Savannah, Georgia. Now, these are real things that I've seen people regretting after closing. Now, number 9 is the easiest one to miss. And even if you find it, I promise you that it will be the hardest one to negotiate. And you're gonna know why. Now, as a bonus, at the end of this video, I will share with you another 4 type of homes that look great on paper, but even then, I would still look very hard and see if I could stay away from them. Now, if this is your first time watching, I'm Luis Bruno. I am a realtor down here in Savannah, Georgia. And all I do all day long is to help people like you from out of the state relocate to this area. All right, starting with number 1, investor flips. For some reason, here in Savannah, Georgia, there are tons of fix and flippers. Yes, there are a few good ones that have great reputation. The other 99% of them are horrible. When I say horrible, I mean they cut corners, as you know. They don't even update the electrical. They don't do anything behind those walls, okay? A lot of homes in Savannah have had termite issues, water damage, foundation problems, okay? Plumbing problems. And this fix and flippers, all they do is put new flooring, some paint, new roof, new HVAC, some makeup on the house. They stage it very, professionally, and then they sell it to you for a premium. And I know, because I was a victim of this. I bought a home in 2018 myself in this neighborhood in South Savannah called Windsor Forest. Now, this neighborhood has something. I mean, a lot of houses have a problem that you're about to see later in this video. But I bought a home in that neighborhood, and I'm telling you, recently renovated, and I spent a ton of money just trying to fix things after I moved in. Now, that leads me to the next point, which is don't buy homes built before 1960. You remember the story that I just told you? Okay, back in those days, they did not use PVC plumbing. They used metal pipes or lead pipes for the plumbing of the house. In that neighborhood that I live, which is Windsor Forest, right, in the South Savannah area, for some reason, tons of the neighbors were having the same exact problem. Not all of them, of course, but tons of them. When I talked to some of the neighbors, they told me, yes, we've had the same problem because of these homes are before 1960s. We all have metal pipes. Now, keep in mind, Savannah, Georgia is a historic city, okay? So we have thousands and thousands and thousands of homes that have been built in the early 1900s, okay? So even if they look great on pictures, even if it's been renovated, you have to find out and do your homework very carefully. And I'm talking about cameras on the plumbing system. Do not tell a home inspector to go to the house and check if the plumbing is working. You wanna know, do this home have metal pipes? Because if they do, I would not buy it. Just stay away from it. I'm telling you, a headache. You're gonna spend money every single year on plumbing problems. Now, number 3 on the list of homes that I would never buy are condos or townhouses that don't qualify for either VA loan or FHA loans, especially in Savannah, Georgia. Why? Well, we have a lower income area, okay? This is not a place where all the rich people live. That's first, okay? So a lot of people are gonna use FHA loans or VA loans. Why? We have 2 military bases. Now, check this out. If you buy a townhouse or a condo that don't qualify for FHA or they don't qualify for VA, now, whenever you want to resell that condo, you have to get either a cash buyer or a conventional loan buyer. So that takes away, 70% of the market. So it's gonna be harder to sell it later. Now, is there something bad about it? No, I'm not talking specifically about the condo. I'm talking more about the community. If the community doesn't allow FHA loans or VA loans, you're taking the risk of not being able to sell that property quickly later when you need it. Now, another problem that you need to be very careful is if you have the intention of keeping that condo or townhome as a rental later, you have to watch out, because even if you can rent it, they might have a waiting list. That means, for example, out of 100 units, only 25 of them can be rented at any given point. So the answer, can I rent it? Yes, you can. The second question is, can you rent it right now? Probably not. So if you were to move out of that townhome or condo and you want to rent it, you might have to end up paying the mortgage payment yourself because you're gonna be on a waiting list. So be very careful with that. Real quick, if you are from out of the state of Georgia and you're planning on maybe making a move here, I have something for you. It's called the Out of the State Buyer's Guide. It will help you get familiar with the areas, how to compare Savannah with Pooler, Savannah with Richmond Hill, or etc. Taxes, school. If you want private school, you can find them there too. It also has a checklist just like this one, of homes that you need to stay away from, okay? So go ahead, download that out of the state buyer's guide right here. If you cannot find it though, send me a text message or email me and I'll send it to you directly. Now, let's get back to the video. Now, number 4 is homes with a slope yard. I'm telling you, this is not something you see on the pictures. So even if you're working with an agent that tells you, oh, it's fine, you can always put dirt and level it out, I promise you, it's way harder than you think, okay? If you're buying a home in this area, in Savannah, Georgia, where we can have flood zones, for example, we can have a lot of humidity, a lot of water, a lot of rain, you have to be very careful with homes that have a slope and the water is draining towards the house. You don't want to have water damage, okay? You don't want to have foundation issues. You don't want to have a bunch of mosquito or bugs going into the house because it's humid and wet. So this problem of, oh, it's just a little bit of dirt and I can level it out, if it was that easy, everyone would do it. So be very careful when you're buying a home in this area that the water drains towards the house. Now, moving on to number 5, homes that have a bad environmental surrounding. And that means next to a school, next to a hospital, next to the fire department, police station, airport, things like that, okay? Let me give you an example. A lot of you guys take a look at a house. It looks great on the pictures. Nothing looks bad, okay? But you went to see the house at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, or maybe at 12 at noon. The truth is, even in my own community, if you drive by here at 7:30 in the morning, it is a shit show. You have the school, everyone waking up from work, a lot of semi trucks. I'm telling you, it's horrible. If you drive by here at noon, there's nothing. Peaceful, quiet. So you have to be very careful because these are things that not only impact resale value, but also it's gonna be a eyesore or a sound sore later, right? So if you're wanting a house that is away from that noise and that people like and enjoy it and you can resell it later easier, I would definitely go for it and stay away from a home that is next to all of these things. Number 6 is homes in a flood zone. Now this one is a little bit tricky because I've had clients that bought a home on a flood zone. They've never had an issue whatsoever. So it really depends on how bad of a flood zone you're in. Now, the best way to do some research is not by looking at the map. If you really like this house and you tell me, Bruno, I know it's on a flood zone, I really want to buy it, it has everything that I'm looking for. What I would suggest you to do is this: go and talk to the neighbors. A few of the neighbors will tell you everything that the map will never tell you. I'm telling you, there's always people that have been living in the neighborhood for 10 plus years and they can tell you, look, every time that it rains, this is what happened. Or hey, you remember whatever storm, when that storm came, this is exactly what happened. This is how many days it took for the water to come down. Or they can tell you, look, I've never had an issue whatsoever. Yes, I pay flood insurance, but we've never had a problem whatsoever. I promise you, there is neighborhoods in Savannah, right? Pooler, Georgia, for example, like Forest Lakes. That neighborhood is on a flood zone. The entire neighborhood. It's one of the nicest neighborhoods we have. Now, in that neighborhood, when we had a historical rain, only one of the streets of that neighborhood had a little bit of flooding, okay? But it didn't flood as bad as people thought. The rest of the neighborhood was completely clean, and that was a historical rain. So are those people wasting their money? Probably not, but it's better to have a flood insurance than not have it. Now, number 7 on the list is something that is completely out of your control, and it has nothing to do with the home that you're taking a look at. And I'm talking about homes with a bad neighbor. If you go to a house and you see a junk car across the street, because a lot of you guys love homes that are not on an HOA, but if for whatever reason you see bad neighbors, the grass is tall, there's a boat on the driveway, the boat looked like it's been there for a while, things like that, I would not buy that house. First of all, if you're planning on staying there, perfect. If you really want to sell that house later, remember, it's only gonna get worse from there. These people that do this type of stuff don't get any better at it. These people have been living in those houses for many years, okay? They're not gonna change anything because they have a new neighbor that it's now mad about it. So be very careful. You don't wanna be thinking, oh, I can have a few conversations with them, we can get along, and I can convince them that, hey, remove the boat or remove the junk car. It's not gonna happen. If anything, they're gonna hate you even more for it. You're gonna have a horrible experience for you and the family. And now that we're talking about bad neighbors, that leads me to point number 8, which is stay away from homes that are in a neighborhood with a ton of renters. This is not something you can find out from the pictures. They're not gonna put it on the disclosure. But if you have a great agent, a great realtor, there's always a way to pull up a report of how many people in that neighborhood specifically are renters versus homeowners. Because if you see that over half the people are just renters, I promise you that's gonna be trouble. You're gonna have a bunch of Airbnb next to you. You're gonna have a bunch of people moving in and out, new cars on the driveway. You're gonna see people walking around the neighborhood every few months, people you've never seen. So it's always gonna be a constant in and out of people coming in, coming out, people that don't take care of the homes. Even if it's on an HOA, it takes longer to get anything fixed on an HOA because there's so many renters that don't care, okay? So if it's a neighborhood that has a ton of renters, please be very careful, either stay away from it or just deal with the consequences of that. Now let's talk about number 9. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this is the easiest one to miss and is the hardest one to negotiate it, even if you don't miss it, okay? Now after this, I'll give you the bonus because there's other 4 type of homes that on paper look great, but I promise you, I would stay away from them as well. So number 9 is this: homes that are 10 to 20 years old where everything is original. And I'm talking about the roof is original, the HVAC system is original, and the appliances are original. Now this is a huge problem that don't exist yet, okay? Let's say you buy a house that is 18 years old. It looks great, they've actually kept it very, very good, etc. All of a sudden, you get the inspection report. You're gonna notice the inspection report says, hey, all of this is gonna go bad within the next 2 to 3 years. It could go bad at any moment because of the lifespan of the roof, the lifespan of the HVAC, the lifespan of the appliances, etc. So on paper, everything is working fine. I mean, it's perfect. So it's hard for me as a realtor and for you as a buyer to go to the seller and say, hey seller, would you give me a credit? Because I'm gonna have to replace the roof soon. They're gonna tell you, well, no, because the roof is fine. There's no evidence that there's something wrong with it besides the age. So I'm not gonna give you thousands of dollars for something that's not a problem. And then you can have the same conversation about the HVAC. Hey, how about the HVAC? The HVAC is, it's 15 years old. It works fine, there's no problem with it. But as you know, the lifespan said is 15 years. So would you give me $10,000 discount? No. Would you replace it? No. Why would I do that? Okay, so these are the things that if you as a buyer say, you know what, there's nothing wrong with it, whatever, believe me, in the next 2-3 years, get ready because you're about to spend at least $25,000, between roof, HVAC, appliances. You're gonna spend $25,000, $30,000 just because you made that little mistake. Now, as promised, like I told you, I'll give you a bonus of 4 other homes that on paper, they look great. But if I were you, I would reconsider it and try to stay away from it because they could make your life miserable if you're trying to resell it later. Okay, it depends on the context and the situation. But bonus number 1 is this: homes where the master bedroom is the only one on the first floor. Yes, there is a market for that. I'm not saying there's not. But if you're in a great school district, that type of home is gonna be hard to resell. A lot of people who have kids, right? You're looking at 5-bedroom home, 4-bedroom home. It's hard for someone to choose a home that has a master bedroom on the first floor because no one wants to have to go upstairs at night every time the baby cries. Every time the kids need something, I need to go all the way upstairs in the middle of the night. Now, normally, the market for that type of homes are people who already have either teenagers, they don't want to have to deal with the teenagers next to their bedroom, or people who are older and they just want to not use the stairs, okay? And then whenever they have guests in the room, they can use the rooms upstairs. Other than that, there's not much of a market for that. Bonus number 2 are homes that have been foreclosed. Now, there's nothing wrong with foreclosures. You can get a great deal with foreclosures, okay? You can save a lot of money. At the same time, you can spend a lot of money. Why? Because foreclosures, even though on paper, the investment looks great, they are sold with no disclosures whatsoever, okay? And they're being sold as is. So yes, you're gonna save a lot of money, but you're gonna be blind. Okay, you're getting into something that you don't know anything about. Now, if the foreclosure is almost a brand new house, built in, 2022, 2020, yes, I would buy it. But if you're buying a foreclosure from 2002 or from 1997, I would reconsider it very strongly. Now, bonus number 3 of homes that are the most expensive ones in the neighborhood. Yes, they look great. Obviously, that's why they're most expensive ones in the neighborhood. But if you're trying to resell that house or something happens to the economy or the market, guess who's screwed? You are, because you bought the home that is $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 more expensive than all of the other ones. It's gonna be hard for your home to go up in value, okay? So if you're planning on reselling that home later, keep in mind, you're probably not gonna make as much money as you think. Now, on top of that, remember that people who are looking for a home that looks fancy and they wanna be, luxury, a little bit high class, they don't wanna be surrounded by other homes that drop the value of their house. Now, bonus number 4 is this: stay away from homes that have a bunch of additions that are not on permit, okay? Yes, extra car garage, extra storage shed, or a deck. Everything looks so great on paper. It's awesome. Then later you move into that house, you notice they give you a fine because none of that was actually created with a permit. Now you want to resell that home and you don't have any permits evidence. Now you have to catch up and try to get in touch with the seller, but they told you, yeah, I did it myself because I'm a DIY guy and I don't care, don't call me again, right? So if you're gonna buy a house that have a bunch of additions, please do your research. Please ask a lot of questions. Please be extra picky, okay? Because this is gonna cost you thousands of dollars, okay? That's it. Again, I'm Luis Bruno. I am a realtor. Call me, text me if I can help with anything in Savannah, Georgia. Download my Out of the State Buyer's Guide, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.